It's only my audiobook while I'm at work because I just don't have the urge to pick it up while I'm at home. I am kicking my feet. I'm giggling. I'm screaming, I'm crying, I'm throwing up. I love this book. I fear I might be living this book. Jessa, quit doing that. Hey everyone, it's me Bailey and welcome back to my channel. So today's video, a number wheel is going to determine what books I read for the next few days. So I have a, it's not really a spreadsheet, but I have a page in Notion where I keep track of all of the physical books on my TBR, and I feel like this has kind of gotten a little bit out of hand. One of my goals for the year was to read 25% of my physical TBR, which at this point I want to say I have reached that goal, but because August was my birthday month, I did bring in a lot of new books. So my goal with this video is to kind of get that number back down. So I have made it up to 110 unread books on my physical TBR, and I would love to have that under 100. But for this video, I think I'm only going to be reading 3, maybe 4 books in this video. We'll see. If I end up choosing a book that's in the middle of a series, then I have to go to Navy. Then I have to read the closest book that I was in the series. So if I end up getting book 5 in a series, but I was only on book 3, then I will end up reading book 3 in this video. But if I do this again and there's a different rule and you guys want me to just spin again or whatever, then I can do that as well. So I think that is all for the instructions of this video. So I'm going to go ahead and spin for the books that I'm going to be reading in this video. So we are going to go ahead and spin for the first book. Okay, so 31. So I'm going to pull up my Notion. So I have my physical TBR unread books, and so I'm going to scroll to number 31. Okay, and number 31 is Ready or Not by Cara Stone, which is an amazing pick because I am reading that. It is on my TBR for September, but it is a buddy read, so I am going to read that in this video, but I will probably save it for a little bit later in the video. So you do have the first book on the list of books that I'm going to be reading. I think I'm going to pick 4 books to read in this video. So now that we have the first one, let's go ahead and move on to the second pick. We've got 57. So we're scrolling to number 57. We have A Shadow in the Ember, and that is the first book in the Flesh and Fire series, which is a spin-off of the From Blood and Ash series, which I did read the first 3 in From Blood and Ash, and then I think you're supposed to like hop over to the spin-off next. So I will be picking that up for this video, which I'm really excited about. So moving on to spin number 3. So spin number 3, I got 30. Okay, and so number 30 is Magnolia Park's Into the Dark, but that is not the book that I'm on in the series. So that is the 5th book in the Magnolia Park series, but I'm only on the 3rd book in the series. So I will be reading book 3, which is Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home. So it looks like I will be reading that as the 3rd book in this video. And then we'll go ahead and spin for pick number 4. So pick number 4 is 100. And so number 100 is For the Throne by Hannah Whitten. This is the 2nd book in the Wilderwood trilogy. It's either a duology or a trilogy. And I did read the first one at the very end of 2022. So I am excited to read this second one. So yeah, those are 4 books that I'm going to be reading in this video. So I usually don't pick them all at the beginning, but I did want to go ahead and just pick them all at the beginning so that way I could know what I'm going to be reading. But so just to go back over it, we have A Shadow in the Ember by Jennifer L. Armentrout, which I'm definitely excited to read this book because I have been wanting to dive back into the series for a while now. So fingers crossed that I'm going to enjoy this series. Then we have Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home, which is the 3rd book in the Magnolia Parks series, and I'm super excited to continue on with this series. We've also got For the Throne by Hannah Whitten, and this is actually a signed copy, which I didn't realize that it was when I bought it, but that's pretty cool. But yeah, so I'm definitely interested to see what's gonna happen in this book. It's definitely giving very like fall vibes, which I love. It is that time of year. And then we also have Ready or Not by Cara Stone, which I will also be reading for this video. So yeah, those are the 4 books that I'm going to be reading for today's video. I'm not sure which one of these I'm going to start with just yet, but I do have a book that I am currently in the middle of that I think I'm going to finish first before I start reading any of these books for this video. So with that being said, I will update you guys once I end up starting a book. Hello. Okay, so it has been a few days since I introed this video, but I have started the first book that I was planning on reading for this video, and that is For the Throne by Hannah Witten. So I did start this today on audio while I was at work, and I did a little bit of listening and following along because I was able to get the ebook on Libby. So I was able to follow along on my lunch break and stuff, and so I was able to make it to chapter 11, which is page 125 in this book. And I feel like it's hard because it's been so long since I read the first one that I don't remember exactly everything that is going on and exactly what all happened before this book, because I read this at the very end of 2022, and since 2022 when I read this, I've read over 200 books in between, and so it's kind of a little bit difficult for me to remember exactly what happened. But from what I do remember, this is a like Beauty and the Beast meets Little Red Riding Hood retelling, and this girl is sent to go marry the wolf in the woods, but apparently this woods is like sentient almost, and so there's like a disease or something in the woods, but like not a human disease. So like the wolf, and like the wolf is like tied to the woods, like if you will, and so people who like go into the woods like die because there's like shadows and things and like ghosts and stuff in the woods. And so essentially we're following our main girl Red, hence the Little Red Riding Hood retelling part of it, while she has to go marry the wolf. And so now we're in the second book, and she is married to the wolf. You know, the things of the first book have happened, and now we're just following her and her sister because of there were some events that happened at the end of the first book that we're now following her sister as well, because it's like they send the second born, and so since she's a twin, she is the second born of her sister, and so like her sister, the firstborn, is like trying to get her out of the woods, but I don't know. Anyway, so essentially that's what this is about, and the writing style is very easy to read and understand, but as far as like the story, I'm feeling like a little disconnected from the story, probably like I mentioned because it has been so long since I read the first book. But also too, when I read the first book, I ended up giving it 3 stars. I don't think I was vlogging or anything when I was reading it, so I don't really have a reason as to why I gave it 3 stars, and I didn't really write a review. I just said that it was 3 stars, so I don't really know why I rated it 3 stars or really anything like that. So that is like kind of my update for now. Like I'm having, like I mentioned, a hard time just kind of getting into it. I'm listening to the audiobook on like 3 times speed, not because I'm just like trying to get through it, but like also because I'm trying to get through it. But like, yeah, I don't know, I'm just feeling a little bored and disconnected, so we'll see. I'm gonna read a little bit more of it. I don't know if I'm gonna read any more of it tonight, just because I'm not really super in the mood to read this, since I did read it for a majority of today whenever I was able to actually sit down and listen to my audiobook while working. So I'm not like super intrigued to pick this up right now, but I definitely do see myself listening to more of this tomorrow while I'm at work, so maybe I can get like a pretty decent chunk of it read tomorrow, maybe even finish it, because it is like right under 500 pages, I want to say. So maybe if I am able to listen to a majority of it tomorrow, I can possibly get the rest of it read. But yeah, so that is my update for now, my first update for the first book. And yeah, so that being said, I will update you guys again a little bit later. Hello. Okay, so it's the next day, and I definitely thought that I was going to be able to finish For the Throne today, and I definitely did not. So I was able to listen to a little bit of this while I was at work today. I ended up making it to chapter 18, which is on page 205. My thoughts are still the same. Like, I just feel like I read this too far out from when I read the first book in the series, so I'm feeling like I'm not enjoying this the way that I could or should be. It's not a bad book, but I just feel disconnected to the story, like I've mentioned 85,000 times. But I feel like maybe later down the line I would consider rereading the first book and this one, just to kind of like refresh my memory. But for the sake of this video and the sake of the time that I have scheduled for this video, I don't have time to go back and can read the first one and then try and read this one. So I am just gonna keep on pushing on, but it's no longer really in the realms of a Little Red Riding Hood Beauty and the Beast mashup retelling. It's now like its own story, and so that part is like interesting, but I just don't remember how we got here. So it's like everything after how we got here like is fine, but I just don't remember how we got here. But I am feeling a little bored with it, like I said, just because of that disconnect. But I don't think that that is the author's fault or the book's fault. I literally just think that's my fault. So I feel like I would recommend this series for the most part, because I think it is just a duology, but I feel like I would recommend this series because I like Hannah Witten's writing style, and she has another series out that I think I want to try too, but the writing style is really easy. It's just I don't know if I was exactly in the mood for this, and I don't remember. So those are like my only critiques, and I feel like this is literally my own fault. Like all of my critiques are because of me, not because of the book or anything like that. So yeah, but I, like I mentioned, had hoped to get this finished today, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be happening. So this will be one that I will be taking into the weekend with me, which obviously while I'm filming this video, like this isn't a weekly vlog, so we're not really keeping up with like what day of the week it is, but this weekend I am hoping to finish this and get it read. But yeah, so that is my update for now. I'm about 45% in, and I will probably update you guys a little bit later. I might try and read some tomorrow while I'm at work, but we'll see how busy of a day it is. And yeah, so I'm thinking more than likely I'm gonna end up finishing this probably on Saturday when I can actually take some time to sit down and read it. But for now, I'm just like not in the mood for it. So it's only my audiobook while I'm at work at the time being, because I just don't have the urge to pick it up while I'm at home. So that's my update for now. And with that being said, I will talk to you guys a little bit later. Hello. Okay, so today is the day that I'm gonna sit down and finally finish For the Throne. So I haven't updated in a couple of days, but I have been continuing to read this. But I have officially made it to page 298, which is the start of chapter 30. So I am over the halfway mark at this point. I am just having a hard time. Like I've said this 80 times already, but I'm having such a hard time with this book. But I am going to finish it because I would like to know what happens. Like I am interested enough in the story, but the disconnect between me and the characters is what is really causing me to struggle. I don't know. I am going to sit down right now and finish this book. I just finished editing a video, so I'm waiting for that to export so I can upload it. And then me and this book, like it's on. Like I am finishing this book today. So that is my update for now. I'm about to go make a coffee and take my allergy medicine because my allergies have been absolutely insane today. So I'm gonna take my allergy medicine, make a coffee, sit down, read this book, and I will hopefully talk to you guys once I have finished this book. Hello. Okay, so I have been sitting here. I've been listening to For the Throne by Hannah Witten and playing my Switch, and I actually just finished For the Throne. I don't think that I'm going to end up rating this just because I don't really feel like it would be fair to the book to give it a rating, and I feel like it just, yeah, I just feel like it wouldn't be fair to the book because, like I mentioned a bunch of times previously, it has been a while since I read the first one. I was very disconnected with the characters just because I have forgotten what happened in the first book, so I don't want to hold that against this book. I feel like if I had read this a lot closer to the first one, I feel like I would have enjoyed this a little bit more, but I definitely feel like I would like to maybe try again one day and see if I can reread the duology and see. But I felt like the ending wasn't, it was more like anticlimactic than I would have expected for the end of a duology. Like obviously everything was resolved in the end, but I was expecting a little bit more action that wasn't really there, and maybe I was expecting something that didn't even happen like to begin with. Like I feel like maybe just because I don't remember exactly what happened in the first book, my expectations of the ending of this book were a little skewed, so I definitely don't want that to hinder the rating of this book. So for now I'm just going to give it no rating and call it a day. But but now that I have finished this book, I will be moving on to the next book for this video. So the next book that I'm going to be picking up in this video is Ready or Not by Cara Bastone. I don't know if it's Bastone or Baston, but either way, Ready or Not. This is a romance, and it is a friend's brother, or like best friend's brother, I think, and unexpected pregnancy trope. I've heard really good things about this book. I'm also buddy reading this with my friend Steph, so if you're not subscribed to her, go subscribe to her channel right now. But we are starting this. She messaged me last night, said that she actually started it last night, but I told her that I was going to be starting it today, so I am about to start this here in a little bit. I am probably gonna play my Switch for a little bit longer and then start this book, but I'm really excited to read this one. I'm absolutely obsessed with this cover, and I just love the tropes that are in this, so I'm definitely having really high expectations for this. So I'm definitely interested to see what my thoughts are going to be on this, but that is going to be my update for now, and I will update you guys once I have started this book. Y'all, literally stop. I love this book. I love this book already. Like, so I'm currently on page 119, which is the start of chapter 9, and I am kicking my feet. I'm giggling, I'm screaming, I'm crying, I'm throwing up. I love this book. I am obsessed, literally, and it is a slow burn, so like nothing even remotely romantic is happening, but I love it. I love it. Like, this is my kind of slow burn. Like, it gives you like little crumbs of like potential romance, but there's not really anything really romantic happening between like the love interest. And I just have to say, Shep, I know that I'm going to love him literally as book boyfriend. Like, I love him. Like, I'm having such a good time. Like, he's so nerdy and so just like clumsy and not very like who you would expect to be. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I'm having so much love for this book. I'm loving it so much. And I've already started looking up more books by this author. She does have a new one coming out in March that I will be pre-ordering because I'm so excited. Like, and she does have some backlists that I want to read. They're like Audible exclusive, so I'll probably be listening to those because I am in love with the writing. It's so easy to read. I'm loving this story. Like, I'm just having such a good time. I'm loving this book so much, and like, I feel like this might be a 5-star. Like, at this point in time, the way that I'm feeling about it, 100 pages in, like, this feels like a 5-star book. Like, oh goodness, like, it's giving my feelings like while I was reading Play Along, which is the last 5-star romance book that I've read. And so I'm like feeling like this might be a 5-star. I'm gonna get back to reading, but yeah, just wanted to come on here and gush about how much I'm absolutely loving this book. Hello. Okay, so I finished Ready or Not by Cara Bastone. Literally, I loved this book. This was, in fact, a 5-star romance for me. I had such a good time reading this. I really liked the main character. I loved Shep. Like, he is probably like top tier book boyfriends. Like, he is literally the sweetest, and just the way that he was there for Eve throughout like the whole pregnancy and everything going on with Ethan. Like, honestly, this so good, so good. If you have not picked this book up, I definitely would recommend it. I know it has the pregnancy trope in it, which I know a lot of people generally aren't that big of a fan of, but this I feel like was done so well. And then even like the birthing scene at the end was just so sweet, and like, I have never given birth, so I cannot know if it was like relatable or realistic or done super well, but it felt like it was done so well. Like, oh, it was honestly just done. Like, honestly, this book was just everything, in my opinion. I just had the best time reading this, and I'm so happy that I was able to pick it up, and I'm so happy that I loved it. I definitely will be reading more from this author in the future, and I definitely plan on pre-ordering her next book that's coming out as well. So super excited to have read this and loved it. But now that I'm finished with Ready or Not, I will be moving on to the third book that I'm going to be reading for this video. So the third book that I'm going to be reading in this video is A Shadow in the Ember by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and this is the first book in the Flesh and Fire series. It is also the prequel spin-off series to From Blood and Ash. So I have not read From Blood and Ash in a very long time, so I'm definitely interested to see how I'm going to like going back into this world. I really enjoyed From Blood and Ash when I read it, so I'm definitely interested to see how things go in this book, because I want to say this is like dealing with the first maiden, or like one of the first maidens or something like that. So I'm definitely interested to see what I'm going to think about this. But this is the next book that I'm going to be reading in this video. I don't know if I'm going to start it tonight. I might end up actually starting it tomorrow, but yeah. So that is my update on this, and so yeah, I will talk to you guys again once I start A Shadow in the Ember. Hello. Okay, so it has been a few days since I finished Ready or Not, and I did want to come on and give an update that I did go ahead and start A Shadow in the Ember by Jennifer L. Armentrout. And so I am currently on page 104, which is the start of chapter 7 in this book. And so I am not really sure how I'm feeling about it just yet. So I did start this a couple of days ago while Belisa was having some reading sprints on her channel, so I joined those and was able to do some reading of this. But so far it is going a little bit different than I had originally anticipated. So I did not read the synopsis for this book just because I generally don't really like reading synopses for books. So I did not read the synopsis, so I was not sure what this book was going to be about. So essentially we are following our main character, Serafina, aka Sarah, and she is the maiden, and she has been promised to the Primal of Death to be his consort. But she actually is not only supposed to be his consort, like she is there, she has a bigger mission. She has to make him fall in love with her so that way she can kill him. And so she has been training pretty much her whole existence to seduce the Primal of Death so that way she can kill him. But we find out in the first like chapter, which I mean I guess technically the prologue, we find out that the Primal of Death actually does not want a consort and literally tells her like, it's okay, I'm good. And so now she is essentially being an assassin for her mother and like the crown. And so most people don't know that she is a princess or the maiden, so she's essentially just going around and killing the people that her mother asked her to, essentially. So that is where I'm at the moment. We have met who I think is going to be the main male character, and so far I really like him as a character. He has really good like banter, and I feel like his personality is really good so far from what I've read. But I'm definitely interested to see how I'm going to feel about the rest of this book. I have not read From Blood and Ash in so long, so it's definitely interesting getting back into this story. But essentially it is like a vampire werewolf type deal, so I want to see how I'm going to like this book. Yeah, I don't really have any thoughts really, I guess, on it so far. Like I mentioned, I do kind of like the main male character, but that's really like the only thought that I have on this book. But I am going to prioritize trying to finish this today. I have about 400 pages left in this, and so I want to see if I can possibly finish this today, so that way I can move on to the final book for this video. So that is my update for now, and I will talk to you guys probably a little bit later when I have another update. y'all, I fear I might be living this book. So I started today. I was able to listen to some while I was at work. And so I was listening to the audiobook today while I was at work of A Shadow in the Ember. I started on chapter 12, which is page 156. And I made it to chapter 21, which is page 253. So I read a little bit under 100 pages today while I was at work. And at first I was starting to think that it was kind of boring. I wasn't really loving what was going on, but I kid you not, chapter 12 is where it really started picking up, and then it got so juicy from there. So I feared that I may love this book because honestly right now the tea, it's eating. So I'm excited to see where the story goes from here. I love Ash, like stunning. One thing about Jennifer L. Armentrout, she loves to give her main male characters in these like books multiple first names, which you do use this, but like love Ash, love him. Was so right about him as the male main character. Obsessed with him. I loved him so much. So I am excited to read the rest of this to see how things end up going and what happens. And yeah, so I do have some homework that I'm gonna work on tonight that's due tonight. I only have one assignment that's due and I'm about halfway done with it. So I'm gonna try and finish up that assignment so that way I can pick some more of this up tonight. I'm hoping to have this finished tomorrow, maybe, so that way this weekend I can really focus on Magnolia Park because I need to get this video finished this weekend so I can move on to the next video I'm supposed to be filming, because right now it's starting to get we're getting a little close on like the timelines of when I have scheduled to film certain content. So loving this as of right now. So I'm definitely interested to see where it's gonna go. We'll probably be picking up the next book in the series because I don't own it. So I'll probably buy the next book in the series and hopefully get to it soon. And yeah, so those are my thoughts for now. I will update you guys again a little bit later. Hello, so I wanted to come on and let you guys know that I have finished A Shadow in the Ember by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and I actually really enjoyed this book. I know that at the beginning I wasn't really liking it all that much. I feel like it really just had to take a minute to really get you into the story, because after around chapter 12, that is when things really started to pick up and things started getting really good. The last like 10 chapters were so juicy and I really enjoyed this book, even though I didn't absolutely love the beginning. But I'm definitely interested to continue this series and see how things kind of go. So I think I'm gonna end up giving this book a 4-star. Like I mentioned, I really enjoy JLA's writing style. Like I just feel like her books are so easy to read, and the storyline is a little bit complicated because this is a vampire book. Like we all know that these books are vampire books, but they're not actually vampires. Like, so they are vampires as in the whole part of like drinking blood, biting neck, having the blood of somebody else in you to turn you into a vampire type situation. Like this is a vampire book. They're just not called vampires. So it does get a little bit confusing since this isn't exactly marketed as a vampire book, but that's what it is. Like it's a vampire book. But I really like this. This book has dragons in it, which is so fun, which I did not know. That was an interesting little surprise. But yeah, so I had a good time. 4 stars. We'll be continuing the series, but now that I'm finished with this book, I will be moving on to the last book for this video, which is going to be Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home by Jessa Hastings. So this is the 3rd book in the Magnolia Parks universe, the 2nd book in Magnolia's point of view. So I'm definitely interested to see what my thoughts are going to be on this book. I feel like I usually read these pretty slow just because Jessa's writing is a little like dense in my opinion, but it is also very beautiful the way that she can string words together in a sentence. So I'm definitely interested to see how I'm going to feel about this book, if I'm going to like it. I gave Magnolia Park 5 stars and I gave Daisy Hates 4 stars. So I'm hoping that this one is going to be a 5-star as well. So I am probably going to end up starting this book this evening. I do have a homework assignment that's due tonight, so I'm about to do that real quick. But once I'm finished with that, me and Magnolia Parks are having a date. So with that being said, I will update you guys again later once I have another update. Hello. Okay, so I wanted to give an update on Magnolia Park, The Long Way Home. I feel like I might have been calling it Into the Dark this whole time, but it is in fact The Long Way Home. But I am currently on chapter 60, which is 383, so I'm about 80% into this book. And I am loving this book, of course. But BJ is really starting to piss me off. Like, he is actually pissing me off. So I'm definitely interested to see how this is going to end. I did kind of take a little peek at the last little text bubbles, and so I'm definitely interested to see what's gonna happen at the end of this and the next Daisy Hates book. So I see myself giving this 4.5, maybe 5 stars. I don't know, we'll see, just depending on how it ends. But I feel like this one has been so much more easier to digest and read than the first Magnolia Parks. I guess just because I'm a little bit more used to Jessa Hastings' writing now, but I'm having a good time. This is pure pain. I've actually put together a playlist of songs that I feel embody this book, so that's fun. If you want that, it'll be linked in the description if I can remember. But yeah, I feel like this book, at least for the first part of it, was pure pain. And now I feel like BJ's getting a taste of his own medicine, and I feel like he deserves it. So that is where we're at in this. I see myself finishing this today. I have a little bit over 100 pages left in it, I believe. So that is my update for now. I'll probably talk to you guys once I finish it. There's no B-roll for this book because I've literally just been so engrossed that I have not picked up the camera while reading this. But yeah, so I'm gonna finish this today. I do have to leave to go to work, so I am about to leave here in a minute. But I wanted to pop in and give you guys that update before I left. So that is my update for Magnolia Park's Long Way Home, and I will talk to you guys once I finish it. So I just finished Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home. What was that ending? Why do I have to read another Daisy Hates book after the ending of that? Like, Jessa, quit doing that to me, because how am I supposed to go on with my life, read Daisy Hates, and then be able to read the next Magnolia Parks book? Like, the Daisy Hates books are good, but like something about the way that Jessa keeps ending these Magnolia Parks books, like, why are you doing that? Like, why are you doing that to us? Like, actual pain, pure pain, because like, actually, what the heck? I literally was not expecting this to end the way that it did. Like, I am so sad for Magnolia, for BJ, for Henry, especially them three, but everyone else in this friend group, everyone else in this book, in this story. Like, what an ending. But suffice to say, I am going to be giving this book 4 stars. I really enjoyed this book. I love the Magnolia Parks universe. I love these stories. I honestly feel like they're just so fun. Like, they're so unserious, but they're literally so fun, and I honestly cannot wait to pick up the next Magnolia Parks book in this series. Like, yes, I'm excited for Daisy Hates, but I just feel like Into the Dark is gonna be so good. So now that I'm done with that, that is the official end of today's video. So I ended up reading 4 books in this video. I don't even remember the concept of this video because it's been so long that I've been filming this. So I read 4 books in this video where a number generator picked my reads for a little while. It's been longer than like 2 weeks that I've been reading these books, but I feel like overall this was a pretty successful grouping of books. I was able to complete a duology with For the Throne. I ended up not reading that one because I felt like it had been too long since I read For the Wolf, and I feel like I didn't accurately remember the story enough to rate For the Throne, so no rating for that one. And then I read Ready or Not by Cara Stone, which I ended up giving a 5 star, but thinking back on it, I feel like I might lower it to a 4.5. I don't know, because I just really loved Shep. I really loved the storyline, the atmosphere, the cover, the setting. Like, I don't know, maybe it is a 5 star, so we'll leave it at a 5 star. So Ready or Not by Cara Stone ended up up giving 5 stars. I then read A Shadow in the Ember by Jennifer L. Armentrout, which I really enjoyed as well, that I ended up giving 4 stars. And then read Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home and ended up giving that 4 stars as well. So I would say that this was a pretty successful video. I'm happy to have read the books that I read. I'm happy to have rated them the way that I did. So yeah, that is going to be all for today's video. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you've stayed to this part in the video, leave a skull emoji in the comments. And if you've read any of these books, then you'll know what that's for. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content from me. I will have all of my social media linked in the description, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.